someone who would also like to be part of your Christmas. One of the great women of our times, Miss Marian Anderson.
When I sing, I don't want them to see that my face is black. I don't want them to see that my face is white. I want them to see my soul, and that is colorless.
Most of Marian Anderson's life was her capability to break barriers for all African American performers and artists. Marian Anderson was born on February 27, 1897 in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Her parents are John Berkeley Anderson, a coal and ice dealer, and Anna Anderson, a school teacher. Marian Anderson is also the eldest of 3 girls.
She attended William Penn High School and graduated from South Philadelphia High School. She applied for admission to a local music school, but was rejected because of her color. At an early age of 13, Marian joined the senior church choir, and at 15, she began taking lessons with Mary Saunders Patterson, who is a prominent black soprano. At the age of 8, her dad bought her a piano, and she managed to teach herself how to play it. But at the age of 12, her father passed away from an injury that he suffered at work.
On April 23, 1924, Marian Anderson and her manager William Billy King held a concert at New York's Town Hall, but because few people attended, she was deeply discouraged. However, in 1925, she defeated 300 contestants and was able to sing in New York's amphitheater with the Philharmonic Orchestra. With the money that was also rewarded to her, she established the Marian Anderson Scholarship.
Impressed by their performance, Arthur Judson signed her into his record label. By 1926, Marian Anderson was able to tour the eastern and southern U.S., but was still performing for mainly a black audience.
She was given the NAACP Spring Garden Award by Roosevelt in 1938. Despite her great talents, Marian Anderson continued to face racial discrimination. Her current manager, tenor coach Giuseppe Boghetti, tried to coordinate a performance for her at Washington, D.C.'s Hall. The Daughters of the American Revolution, who were the owner of the hall, told them that there were no available dates for her to perform. But in reality, she was turned away because of their whites-only policy.
Other musicians spoke to support Marian of this discrimination. The First Lady, Eleanor Roosevelt, also spoke in support for Marian by resigning from the Daughters of the American Revolution. In the same year, Marian Anderson was invited by Eleanor Roosevelt to perform at the Lincoln Memorial. This performance opened many more opportunities for her and inspired others to fight against racial discrimination.
Nation's most impressive Easter demonstration. 75,000 massed before Lincoln Memorial to hear Marian Anderson, colored contralto, make her capital debut at the great Emancipator Shrine. Refusal of the DAR to let her use their hall fanned a countrywide controversy, with this great gathering as the climax. The singer was invited by Secretary of the Interior, Ickes, who attends with Secretary of the Treasury, Morgenthau. Spectators include Supreme Court Justice Black, New York Senator Robert Wagner, and a host of notables, here to listen to the voice acclaimed by many as the finest in a century.
When asked how she responded to the DAR's decision, she said, "I forgave the DAR many years ago. You lose a lot of time hating people." She is also later privileged to perform the national anthem in 1961 for President John F. Kennedy's inauguration.
Marian Anderson held several tours and was booking engagement 2 years in advance despite all of the racial discrimination she had to go through.
Marian also holds the longest tour in concert history, with 26,000 miles in 1 year, which is about 70 concerts in 5 months. Marian Anderson is also the first African American to perform with the New York Metropolitan Opera in 1955. She is rewarded with the Presidential Medal of Freedom by President Lyndon Johnson in 1963 and the National Medal of Arts by Ronald Reagan in 1986. On July 17, 1943, Marian married Orpheus Fisher, an architect, and settled with him on a farm in Connecticut, which they called Mariana's Farm.
In 1986, at the age of 68, Marian finally retired. After her retirement in 1991, Marian Anderson was awarded with the Grammy Award for Lifetime Achievement. Her husband died in 1986, and so she moved to Portland, Oregon in July 1992 to live with her nephew. Marian eventually died at the age of 96 due to congestive heart failure on April 8, 1993. In June, people attended a memorial service to honor her in Carnegie Hall in New York. The U.S. Postal Service honored Marian Anderson by putting her on its 28th stamp in their Black Heritage Series.
It is easy to look back, self-indulgently, feeling pleasantly sorry for oneself and saying, "I didn't have this, and I didn't have that." But that is only the grown woman, regretting the hardships of a little girl who never thought they were hardships at all.